Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. Hit that subscribe button. I promise not to disappoint you. Hit the like button. Share it. Share this video. Spoke a lot about Big Sandy and USP Pollock, some of the places that I've been, some of the things that I've seen, some of the things that I've experienced. But have you ever wondered that if you walked into Big Sandy, who the people you would be living with, who they were? What type of people would you be around? If you're a young man on the wrong path right now, or even a young woman, you should think about some of the people you might be in prison with. For those of you that are out there getting money right now and hustling, and you think, man, it's a nonviolent crime, I'm going to be all right. Even if they catch me, I'm going to pay a lawyer and I'm going to get out. Don't work that way when the feds get you. So today I want to talk about Big Sandy. I want to talk about some of the people you're going to be around. And you've seen the thumbnail. And the thumbnail talks about the cop that got stabbed. So I want to take you back to October 21st, 2008. But we're not going to stay there. We're going to go further. We're going to go behind. We're going to find out what's going on in Big Sandy. We're going to find out who these dudes are that live in that place, in that dungeon. I call it the dungeon of despair, the dungeon of hopelessness, because that's what it's full of. It's full of hopelessness and depression and loneliness, violence, anger. So let's go to October 21st, 2008. Myselli, Adam Oliveri. And I've spoke a little bit about Adam. You know, Adam had I believe it was a 10 or 11 year federal sentence that he was serving. He had another 20 years to do in the state, or 25 years to do in the state of New York for a murder case. October 21st, 2008, people in my unit were getting drunk, having a good time. And there was a cop. There was a cop that was always harassing people. People were upset. They disliked the guy. And our shot caller at the time was out of Boston, Stevie. Stevie didn't like him. This cop had taken Stevie's, shining material, stuff he was making moonshine with. That's how he lived. That's how he supported his habit in prison and how he fed himself and bought his deodorant. Steve was serving a couple life sentences. He's one of them guys from that movie, The Town, that they talk about. So anyway, this cop on that fateful day, continuously harassing, he ended up taking some wine. Took some wine from Myselli. Myselli was already, intoxicated. Big Adam. And Adam had said, you know what? I'm going to stab this dude. When he said that, I just laughed at him. I thought he was just joking or full of shit. But he wasn't. And one of the homeboys, kid named Preston, said, you know what, I'm going to go say something to this dirty-ass cop. Preston went down there to say something to the cop, got smart with him, was talking shit to him. Somehow they ended up getting tangled up. The cop falls on top of Preston. Somehow his pants come down. His little white booty was mooning the unit. Everybody's seen him. It was kind of like it was a joke. Like they were laughing at our car. Some of you know what a car is. And Adam got even madder. And that's when Adam told me, man, I'm pretty much going to stab this dude. And I thought he was joking. I thought he was playing. But I'd seen the anger in his face. The anger in the part of him that wanted to prove a point. That no one could play us. That no one could make a joke out of us. Because the cop was doing that. He was making a joke out of us by having one of our guys tackled on the floor with his butt showing. It's outrageous. Adam went downstairs and he did what he said he was going to do. He stabbed the cop. The cop was screaming. He jumped off of Preston. He was trying to run away. He hit the deuces. I remember all the cops flooding into the unit. I seen Adam standing there and he had that knife and the cops were scared to approach him. They came in with beanbag guns and they started talking nice. Yeah. Adam's had two knives in his hands and the cops want to start talking nice. Adam, put the knives down. And Adam acted like he was going to jump at him. I don't know if he meant it or if he was playing with him. I don't know what he was doing. But anyway, Adam stabbed that cop and they ended up taking him out of the unit. He left peacefully eventually. Adam leaves the unit. That night they transfer him to USP McCrary from Big Sandy. And he goes to the SHU. The special housing unit, right? Nothing special about it. I think I said that before. That's a real dungeon. You're locked in a cell 23 hours a day. Sometimes you get a cellie. You got to use the bathroom in front of your cellie. You got to eat right there with your cellie. You're pretty much living there with your cellmate, man, in a room the size of your bathroom. So Adam eventually was charged in federal court. And back then, they didn't charge you. You know, if you stabbed another prisoner, no one cared. You could stab another guy. If you killed him, they might charge you back then. But back then, they didn't charge you unless you did something to the cops. So they ended up charging Adam. Adam went to court. He was going to go to trial. And he eventually copped out, I believe, on the day his trial was supposed to start. He was going to go to trial on a case, and I don't know what his defense was going to be. I mean, he stabbed the cop. You know, cop was in there screaming, "Ah!" I think that cop knew that his life had flashed before him. He had become prey. He had become a victim of violence. Some people might think it was warranted. Some people think it wasn't. But, you know, this particular cop was doing a lot of things that happened to Thomas Silverstein when we talked about Terrible Tom. You know, this guy was doing bad stuff to people, man. Come in your cell, destroy it, take your stuff. You know, people in federal prison, maximum security prison, sometimes they feel like, hey, man, if I ain't raping, killing, leave me alone, man. Just let me do my time. If I want to get high and I want to drink, just let me do it, man. Leave me alone. This cop wasn't going for it. He wasn't going for people drinking. He wasn't going for people making wine or making moonshine. So he ended up paying the ultimate price. Well, not the ultimate price, but he ended up getting stabbed. Like I said, Adam was charged. He went to federal court. And Adam ended up copping out. He ended up pleading guilty. He took the government to the door. He was going to go to trial, and he quit at the last minute. Some could say it was the best decision he could have made because he would have ended up with a life sentence. So anyway, he cops out and he ends up with 25 more years. So now Adam has to serve the 10 years that he was already serving. He's going to serve that other 25 years, which makes that 35 years. So now he's at 35 years old. He's at 35 years in prison. And then once he's done with that, he's going to go back to the state and serve the 20 or 25 years. I believe Adam was a young man when he went to prison. I think he was 24. Adam will likely never leave prison. You know, and Adam was a tough guy. Adam is the guy that you see when you watch these prison movies. That's who Adam Oliveri is. He's that dude, man. He lived that prison life. He wasn't faking. He lived that prison life. He was the shot caller. Him and Stevie were the shot callers for our car. He was my cellie. He was a pretty big dude. Violent. You know, there were some white gang members that hated on him or might talk bad about him behind his back. But I can tell you that Adam was probably the most feared white dude on the compound at USP Big Sandy. He's probably about 6'1", 6'2", pretty big, knew how to use his hands. Dangerous dude. There were other times where we had an issue with a guy from Boston and he wanted to go do something to another black dude that was on the compound. And we were out there for that incident, and Adam had said, look, man, you guys just stand over here. You're all young. I'm going to go kill this dude. I'm going to end this shit. I mean, they ended up working it out, and Adam didn't kill him, but I can tell you that when you looked in Adam's eyes when he said that to us, Adam was going to kill this dude, man. He was definitely going to kill this dude. So, if you end up in Big Sandy, you're going to end up around guys like Adam Oliveri. Adam don't care. Adam will take your life. His life's forever gone. Forever lost. He will likely, like I said earlier, die in prison. They will carry him out of whatever prison he's in now in a body bag. And hopefully someone in his family will still be alive because his parents will probably be long gone. Hopefully somebody will bury him somewhere. Those are the type of people that you're going to be around in prison, right? Those are the type of people that are housed in USP Big Sandy. There's other guys like Eric Emard. Let's talk about Eric. Eric stabbed his cellie in the neck repeatedly with a shank. That was in 2007. After that assault, he had a couple cops were taking him to court because they charged him. They charged him in 2007 with attempting to kill his cellmate, his cellie, right? Cellmate ended up in the hospital and all that stuff. So a couple years later, they're taking Eric to court. May in May 2009, right? 2 years later, in May 2009. And somehow Eric gets this piece of plexiglass. He turns it into a knife. He gets strip searched to go to court. He's going to court. So a federal district court for attempting to kill his cellie. So Eric gets on the van. Somehow he gets through the butt naked shakedown. He's still got that shank. And what he does next is something you only see on movies usually, right? Well, they make movies on guys like Eric. Eric ends up stabbing both of the cops, and he tries to escape. One of them was stabbed in the eye. The other one was stabbed repeatedly. And Eric ends up copping out too. Eric didn't care about the cops. He didn't care about anything. He wanted to escape. He wanted to get away. And his only opportunity was by going to court. Because when you go to court, you're outside that gate. You get outside that concrete wall that you look at every day. You look at that concrete wall every day, you see the razor wire, and you look at the wall and you say, man, there ain't no way out. So the only way out for Eric was to stab his cellie, get charged with a federal crime, and start heading to prison, to federal court, and try to escape that way. So Eric ends up trying to escape, but eventually things don't work out, and Eric ends up with another 45 years. That pretty much sealed the deal for Eric. Eric will never leave prison a free man. Eric will die in prison, the same way that Adam will likely die in prison. These are the people that you're around in Big Sandy. If they're willing to stab the cop, how easy would it be to stab you? How easy would that be? I was actually in Big Sandy in 2008 when there was another dude named Steve, right? Not Boston Steve, but another dude named Steve. And we used to have them machines where you get the hot water and all that stuff out of them. And he decided that he was mad at the case manager. Steve was pissed off. Case manager didn't put him in for a transfer, something like that, if my memory serves me correctly. And he gets a big bucket of hot water, scalding hot water. And what does he do? He throws it on the cop, throws it on the case manager. Some of them case managers are nasty too. They don't want to do shit for people, treat you like shit, treat you like a dog, like you're in a third world country. And Steve decided that he was gonna lash out. He was angry. So he threw that hot water all over that dude, man. Guy was screaming. Case manager was screaming. Melted his face with hot water. His neck, his chest. And Steve, for that incident, he ends up going to federal court. Gets another 20 years in prison in February 2009. These dudes dangerous? I promise you there's some dangerous, dangerous dudes. Some of the most dangerous dudes I ever seen in my life. And they will unleash violence at any given moment. That's not to say that every federal prisoner is an animal, or that every federal prisoner deserves to die in prison, or that no one deserves a second chance to reclaim their lives. Because I fully believe that people deserve a second chance to reclaim their lives. But I want you to know who the people are that you're going to be around, young man. If you're a young man watching this video, if you're a teenager, you're heading down the wrong road, these are them dudes, man. If you are 20-something-year-old out there getting money, think twice, man. Think twice about your life. Think twice about where you could end up. Who are them people you're going to be around, right? So let's talk about John Travis. John Travis. I want to say, was he from... He wasn't from D.C., I don't think. He was from D.C. This happened in January 2009. I left shortly after. I ended up leaving Big Sandy shortly after, thank God, right? But this dude, he's in his cell. He was a D.C. dude. He's in the cell with one of the homies. When I say homies, another D.C. dude. That was his partner. That was his homeboy. That was his friend. That was the dude that, he kicked it with. So John ends up stabbing his cellie in the head. Stabs him with what we call a bone crusher. Bone crusher is a piece of steel that's cut out of your bed. Cut knives out of your bed with all kinds of stuff, man. These steel beds that we got, cut it out with nail clippers. You can use a hair clipper, guard, and you just saw away. Keep sawing. These are some of the most menacing weapons you'll ever see. They call them bone crushers because, man, they go right through you. They will go right through you and chip your bones. And John ended up stabbing his cellie, right? Vincent Smith. He made that shank and he stabbed him in the head. And once he stabbed him in the head, the knife was sticking in his head. And, some people say, and I remember reading about the case, that after he stabbed his cellie in the head, that knife punctured his brain. He jumped on top of him and choked him. Took his last breath in Big Sandy. But really, to John, it didn't matter. He didn't care about killing his cellie. That's because he was already serving life. He was already serving life because, if my memory serves me correct, he had shot someone in D.C. I think it was an old Christian church guy, man. He shot him with a high-powered rifle, killed him, went to trial, and he ended up with a life sentence. So now the only thing that the government can do, and I don't know if this has happened yet, but I know that John ended up going to ADX Florence for killing his cellie. But the government was going to seek the death penalty because around 2008, after that cop got killed, I want to say in Canaan, I think it was in 2008, the government started to charge people in federal court. The government was starting to have enough of people killing people with no repercussions. That's when they started charging people. And they were seeking the death penalty for John. Maybe it was John's way out. Maybe he wants to just die. Maybe he'll never see population again, because before he came to Big Sandy, he had stabbed, I believe, his cellie and USP Lee, another one of his DC homies. And that's why he ended up transferred to Big Sandy. These are the people that are behind that wall. These are some of the people that you will be living with if you don't make the right choices. These are the type of dudes that you're going to be around. And like I say, man, everybody's a tough guy. You're out here in the streets, you're getting money. But man, federal prison always has somebody a little more tougher than you. Believe me when I tell you that, man. Some of the toughest of the tough are inside federal prison, man. There's some dangerous dudes in there, man. And I don't want to see you in there. I don't want to see you in that. I don't want to see you in that type of position. I don't want to see you where you're locked in a cell, man, with some dude that you don't even know. Some dude that you think you're cool with. And because there's a lockdown, that dude starts to get agitated. When you get up to take a piss, you got to flush the toilet. Makes him angry. Being in prison and locked in a cell with another man, there's things about that make you angry. You just start to get agitated about everything. You get tired of being in a cell 24 hours a day. And when there's a lockdown on the compound, you don't get that 1 hour to come out of your cell for rec. Once in a while, you get to come out for a shower. It's supposed to give you 3 showers a week, right? Usually Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's the only time you come out of that cell, to go walk down that tier and get that shower. How do you think it feels to live with another man in your bathroom for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Some of these lockdowns are 2-3 weeks, 30 days. Some of them are for months. Sometimes when a cop gets killed, you might be locked down for 7, 8, 9 months with the same person in your cell. Eventually, this guy could be your best friend, but eventually, man, you start disliking the people that you're around 24/7. I've been there. I've been in that position. God forbid, man, you're in a cell with a guy like John, who's just angry one day and you're sleeping and he decides to stab you, man. These are the type of people that you're going to be around in federal prison. Federal prison ain't camp fed. It ain't all the stories that you heard. These are the real stories. These are the things that really happen. And you remember we talked about Steve, right? And Steve wasn't done, man, unleashing violence. You know what I mean? He wasn't done. He got that 20 years for throwing that hot water on the cop in 2008 when I was there. And then later on, he got pissed off again. June 24th, 2010. Old Steve's pissed off, and he makes a 2-foot long spear. I believe it was made out of newspaper and wax. He put a knife on the end of it. Might have been magazines. It's either magazines or newspaper, right? And he sharpens a knife on there and puts it in there real good. Piece of plexiglass. And then he coats the tip of it with shit. or we'll use the proper term, feces. And what does he do? He stabs the cop. He stabs the cop with it through the food slot. Stabs him with a spear. And when he stabs him with the spear, cop's screaming, yelling, gets him good. But what happens next? I'll tell you what happens next. Now think about this. Steve got a 20-year sentence already. Now he goes to court, he gets a 15-year sentence on top of that. So that's 35 years. And I checked him out on the BOP website. Looking at it right now. Let me pull it because my screen went dead. Boom. He is scheduled to be released from prison. Steve's going to get out when he's probably like 90 if he lives that long. He's scheduled to be released in 2049. Now think about that. He got an additional 35 years. Had he not got that additional 35 years, we're in 2021. He'd probably be going home right about now. But no, Steve's going to die in prison probably. If he does get out, he's going to be like that guy on Shawshank Redemption. You want to be that guy? You want to walk in there a young man and either die in prison or walk out an old man? Probably not. But who else is in Big Sandy? We're going to talk about this guy because I was with this guy in USP Lee, and one of the tattoos, I didn't know who the dude was at the time. I just knew he was a pretty good artist. And I was trying to get a tattoo of an Irish flag, and I wanted someone to draw it for me. So they told me, talk to Chevy. So I go talk to Chevy, this white dude. He looks like a hillbilly, right? Frizzy hair, baseball cap. I talk to him, and Chevy draws this Irish flag for me with the M&M clothing line dude on there. You know, I thought that stuff was cool back then, right? If you want the pattern for it, let me know. I'm joking. But anyway, Chevy draws this picture for me, and I end up getting the tattoo on my chest, whatever. But who is Chevy? Come to find out, this was when I was in USP Lee. But Chevy's now in Big Sandy. Chevy ended up trying to escape from USP Lee, and I think it was his partner got caught in the fence, and he had to climb over the fence to go back and get him, and he got caught. But what was Chevy in prison for? Why is Chevy in federal prison? Chevy was a white supremacist, convicted of charges of racketeering in the aid of murder and robbery conspiracy. He tortured and killed a husband and a wife and their 8-year-old daughter. Chevy killed their 8-year-old daughter. Killed the father, killed the husband for whatever reasons, right? And his co-defendant, you might know who his co-defendant is, so we're going to talk about his co-defendant too, right? His co-defendant's Daniel Lewis Lee. If you know anything about the death penalty and what was going on with the Trump administration, how they ramped up that death penalty, they were strapping people in that chair in Terre Haute in 2020. I wrote an article about it in Criminal Legal News. They were strapping people up and just killing people, right? So Chevy's co-defendant is Daniel Lewis Lee. He was executed on July 14, 2020. And now Chevy ended up with a life sentence, 3 life sentences. So he was never getting out anyway. That's why he tried to escape. But he's at Big Sandy now. That's where he's at. So these are the people that are in Big Sandy. These are the people that you will be in prison with. These are the people that you will be spending your life with in federal prison. Dangerous folks. People that can really pluck chickens with their teeth, like I said the other day. You want to be that guy? You want to go to Big Sandy? You want to go to this dungeon of doom, this dangerous place? Hell no. Who wants to live like that? Who wants to live around people when you have to wonder if you're going to live or die each day? Dangerous place. You want to be that guy? I say that a lot because I want it to resonate. I want to know if you really want to be that guy. I want to know if you want to go to prison and die in prison. I want to know if you want to go to prison and never see your family again. I want to know if you're prepared to do what those other people are prepared to do. Are you prepared to walk into prison and kill someone? Yeah, we can all say it. If I had to, I would. You want to be that guy out there on the yard when you're fighting and dude's like, man, that dude was great with his hands. He was good with his hands, man. He was working. Yeah, but they killed him. Yeah, he was working. He was fighting. Fighting 3-4 dudes. You were doing a good job. But the guy you didn't see stabbed you in the neck. And now your mother has to bury you. Now the warden's going to call your mother, Call your father, your grandmother, your sister. And they're going to tell them, I'm sorry to tell you this, but your son's dead. And a lot of times they do it with no remorse. And I say that because I had a friend that was at Big Sandy, Bruce, out of Ohio. Got a brother named Hollywood. Good dude, man. Hollywood's a good dude. Was in Big Sandy with me around this time when all this stuff was going on over there. I think he's in the FCI now. Bruce was almost done with his bid. Had almost 25 years in. Good with his hands. Tough dude. They found him dead. He died at USP Pollock a couple months ago. Nobody seems to know how he got killed, but he's dead. No bruises on his hands. But he was murdered. Was he killed in his sleep? Did they kill him for his commissary? Did they kill him for a pair of sneakers? Nobody seems to know. And you know what? No one cared. When he called his family, they told his family that he was dead and they were going to bury him over in Potter's Field. What is Potter's Field? Where they bury the prisoners that have no family. But Bruce had a family. His family had to argue because he was adopted. He had to argue, the family had to argue with the SIS and the SIA and the warden in order to get his body transferred back to Ohio. Sad, man. Sad. You know someone calling your mother to tell them that you're dead, that they have to come claim your body? Hell no, man. Get out of the streets. Don't just listen to me. Think about it. Think about how many people you've seen retire from drug dealing, man. How many people have you seen retire from doing robberies? Might be a few, but not many. Not many. Many of these people end up in federal prison. The big dope dealers you see in your neighborhood, the guy that you're aspiring to be, usually end up in federal prison. And a whole lot of them end up in federal prison with nothing. No money. All the girls are gone. No visits. No girlfriends to visit. The only person they got left is mama. That's it. Mom douche. I too was that guy. Had nobody left, man. All the homeboys were gone. I know you heard the story 1,000 times, man. No one cares about you. All your homeboys are gone. All your friends are gone. All the people that you used to get money with. All the nights you spent at the club buying the bar. All them dudes are gone, man. They moved on to the next dude, man. The next leader. The next dude that had leadership skills in their neighborhood, man. He's buying the drinks now. And he don't know that he's throwing bricks at the penitentiary. He don't know he's building a bridge to get to federal prison. Man, change your life, man. Change your life. You don't wish that you did, man. I promise you that. There's nothing more important than your freedom. You don't want to be in Big Sandy with guys like Chevy, guys like Adam, or Steve. You don't want to be in that place. It ain't just about them dudes, man. It ain't about scaring you. It ain't about you being scared. It's about reality. It's about a check on yourself, man. You're worth more, man. You're worth more than spending your life in federal prison. You're worth more than going to state prison. You're worth more than eating bologna and cheese sandwiches, man, on a lockdown for 30 days. You're worth more than that. Look in the mirror. Ask yourself, what are you worth? And if you come back and say you're worth $100,000, then keep selling drugs, man. If you say you're worth $1 million, keep selling drugs. Say you're worth $1 billion, keep robbing people, man. Keep doing what you do. But if you look in that mirror and you answer yourself honestly and you say you're priceless, then know your worth. Know your worth. Change that path. Don't be like me, man. Don't be like Chevy. Don't be like Steve or like Adam or John. Somebody out there loves you, man. Somebody, a lot of you got kids, man. Your kids look up to you. Stop that vicious cycle of poverty, man. That vicious cycle of imprisonment. You're better than that. Please, man. Finish the video. Go ahead and turn it off, man. When I'm done talking, turn it off. Go look in that mirror and ask yourself, what are you worth? And if you say you're priceless, get on that right path. And with that, I'm going to tell you again, hit that subscribe button, share this video, because somebody needs to hear this, man. We bring it to you real, and we bring it to you raw. Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Until tomorrow, I'm out.